Good afternoon, everyone. You're watching a live broadcast with me, Priti Raichura, luxury wedding planner and broadcaster. Today, as you know, I'm going to be speaking to a lovely couple, Navdeep and Khyati Bachu Vicaria, who are joining me very shortly from London. Now, a lot of you may have already seen that, yes, I've not spoken about gay couples on my program before, but this is something that I really did want to speak about because I myself have covered a few gay, lesbian weddings, and here is a couple that are willing to talk to me here this afternoon about some of the barriers, struggles, about being from the LGBT community and how they have overcome them. So please join me in welcoming both Navdeep and Khyati. I'm just going to try and see if I can connect with them. Just bear with me. Hi guys. Oh, I can't hear you. Just bear with me, bear with me, bear with me. Let me unmute. I will get there in the end. There we go.
Can you hear us?
Hi both. Yes, how are you both?
Namaste.
Namaste.
Jai Shri Krishna, Sat Sri Akal.
And hello.
And hello to everyone. Just to correct you, it's Navneet. The name is
A very warm welcome to both of you. How are you both doing?
good, thank you.
Thank you.
Good. It's very warm here today in Leicester. I don't know how it is in London.
Very
Oh,
warm
very warm.
in London as well.
Yeah. Seems like summer's back. Let's hope so. Yeah. Let's hope so. I just wanted to say a very personal thank you to both of you for coming on my show here this afternoon and willing to share some of your personal experiences about being from the LGBT community. I know that it's not been an easy ride for you both. Kathy, I've known you for a long time, and Navdi, it's such a pleasure to meet you here virtually today. And of course, I hope this isn't the last time we'll be meeting because, our paths have certainly crossed many times, but this is the first of many. So very, very warm welcome to both of you here on the show today. Now, for the benefit of those people that are joining us, tell me a little bit about yourselves. If I can ask Kathy for you to tell me a little bit more about yourself first.
So I'm Gujarati background, very community orientated, spiritual and religious, but not from a strict background. What can I mean, I came out later on in my life. I actually never knew I was gay until just before my 30th. Yeah, just before. I was a bit confused. From a young age, I always liked men as well. Even in high school, had the high school crushes and everything. And then, I don't know, all of a sudden, even when I came out, I wasn't sure, but I personally liked women more than men. And then, from there onwards, it was like, okay, I'm discovering my sexuality. I want to meet like-minded friends, experience club nights, bar nights for gay people, and see how it is. And then I think how many years later, after I think 3 years later, I managed to meet Nav.
No, 2 years later.
2 years later, I met Nav,
2 years later.
which was actually I added Nav on Facebook.
Okay.
Long
Yeah.
You started stalking her.
Well, it wasn't stalking. I added her, and then I just left it as it is.
I would not talk to her. So,
Yeah.
so we had a long road, right?
Yeah.
Long road ahead of us.
Lovely. Okay. So that's you, Khyati. And what about yourself, Nav?
It was me myself. If I'm honest, I come from a Punjabi background. I'm a Sikh.
Mm-hmm.
I come from a large family, but we are not strict as practicing Sikhs, and my family are very liberal. So with my parents and even with my siblings, we talk and we're open with each other about everything. If we want to do something, we'll discuss it and get a feel around and everything. But coming from a very open family has really helped me growing as I've grown up. because I saw my friends, and if I'm honest, a lot of them had a lot of difficulty. If I went through that and I didn't have the growing up and the background I came from, I would have struggled. Just thinking I would struggle, I would have definitely struggled.
So your family members, Navra, totally okay with you being from LGBT community? So when was it that you had discovered that you were gay?
If I'm in all honesty, I knew probably around about when I was about 6, 7 years old.
Oh, really? As
Yeah,
young as
it was my
that?
first, I remember my first Christmas party at primary school, like a proper party, and I went to it, and I, just being myself, walked straight up to one of the girls, and I said, "Would you like to dance?"
Okay.
So I kind of knew from about that age, but then obviously I grew up in a very Asian community, so
Sure.
it was kind of like I can't really say anything because I don't know. I could, you just, but you were trying to hide it in retrospect. So I kind of grew up thinking maybe there's something wrong with me, or maybe I just need to stay quiet because I don't know. Maybe it's my hormones as I started to grow. But yeah, I mean, by the time I actually came out, and I actually came out by accident.
Oh,
So
really? Tell
yeah,
me more about that.
it was a complete accident. It was just before my 21st birthday in 2010,
Oh, yeah.
and my siblings are much younger than me. No, it was my 21st. My 21st. And I'd had a bit of a rough year that year, and we were wrapping presents right in the evening, so my siblings had all gone to sleep. So probably about midnight-ish. And my dad just popped the question straight to me, and he said, "I don't have a problem with gay people and stuff like that." And I just thought, you know what, I need to keep brushing this under the carpet because I don't want to discuss this with my dad.
Yeah.
But my dad wouldn't move. He then prolonged the process after he'd finished wrapping and said to my mum, "Oh, why don't you put the tea on? Let's have a cup of tea." And I'm thinking to myself, okay, this man's not going to move. So in the end, my sister, she's about 3 years younger than me, 3.5 years younger than me. She knew, I'd confided in her a little while back, and she just said to me, she goes, "Now, just tell Dad." I said, "If I tell Dad, I don't want him to get upset because I don't know how he's going to react. I know that we're an open family, but I said, this is very taboo in our culture."
Yeah.
So I said, I don't know how he's going to react. So I took the chance, and I said, and I didn't even say the words gay, lesbian, or anything. I just turned around and said, "Dad, I'm the other way inclined." And he just looked at me and he burst into hysterics. In such laughter that I thought he would fall off the chair and fall onto the tiled floor in the kitchen. But he didn't, and then he relaxed, and then I thought, okay, now deep down within myself, this is when I thought I heard about all the horror stories of people coming out and their parents being very angry and throwing them out and everything. I actually, in that split second, I thought that. No, I had my work bag, which had my gym stuff in it. So I thought, okay, I could grab that. I could grab my jacket. And I got my mobile, so that was in my pocket. And I thought, okay, I'll have to ring my best friend. But he didn't. He just looked at me and he goes, "Do you want to see? Do you want to understand what I see when I look at you?" So I said, "What, Dad?" And he goes, "I see that 3-year-old in a frock, in a dress." And I said, "That's a really bad image to have because I said I haven't worn a frock or a dress since I was 3."
Yeah.
So he goes, "Yeah, but me being a parent, that's what I see." And he goes, "To be honest, if anybody has a problem with you being who you are, being what you want to be," he said, "they have to come through me." He said, "I'm the brick wall." He said,
Wow.
"At the end of the day," he said, "no matter if you're bisexual, you are gay, lesbian," he said, "I have, all of you kids." And he goes, "I would never discriminate against any of you." And he goes, "I don't even look at you differently. You're still my
Wow.
child. I love you." And my mom said exactly the same thing.
That's amazing.
I
So,
was very surprised with that.
wow. And what about your mom?
Mum was okay.
Mhm.
Obviously, as a parent, she was a housewife.
Yeah.
So she obviously looked after us kids. And being a mother and being a parent who's full time looking after the children,
Yeah.
and we obviously have aspirations,
Yes.
imagination on one day my child's gonna get married. It's gonna be like this. It's gonna be like that.
Mm.
But she did have that, but she didn't have it very long. Where she said, where she just said to me, she goes, "Are you sure? Do not label yourself until
Yes.
you are sure." And she goes, "To be honest, you don't even need to label yourself. You are what you are. You don't need to go around saying I'm a lesbian, I'm gay, I'm a heterosexual,
Yes.
I'm bisexual. Whatever. You are what you are." So
Yeah.
I said, "It's fine." And she took a bit of time, but probably about a month or so, where she just needed time to just think about it. But she broke out of that really quickly. I mean, especially when she met Kathy, she was just over the moon. She goes, "I know that you're safe. I know you're happy." And she goes, "I know you guys are gonna get married sooner or later."
That's
And I
so
just kept
wonderful.
laughing at her and saying,
Yeah.
I don't think marriage is on the table, because at that time, my headspace generally on marriage was like, why do I need a piece of paper? As
Yeah.
long as I'm committed, I didn't need that. But we did get married, and we're thankful we got married, right?
Wow. Do you think that our community understands the LGBT community? Do you think that they accept? I'm talking about, grandparents' generation. Do you think that they understand, that, so let me just give you an example. So, when you guys, broke the news to your wider family members and you went around giving out your gunko through your invitation cards and, to the elderly lot, do you think that they understood, where it said Kathy marries Navdeep? Whether like what, how do you think that they're understanding? Do you think that they're able to overcome these barriers that we've had for many centuries now?
I think I'll let you
Um,
answer that one, right?
Do you know what? It's kind of it's an interesting question, but it's mixed because you do get the older generation who do understand it. Like my bar, she attended our wedding
Okay.
from day one. When we went to give the Gonko 3, and you gift them, you gift
Mm.
her a sorry.
Yeah.
She's been supportive day one, and even now she's been supportive. Then we've had other family members
Hmm.
who I won't name, but they they just couldn't get over themselves, and they didn't attend our wedding.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
yeah, and our wedding was small anyway. Well, it wasn't like thousands of people.
It
It
was
was
supposed to be small.
restricted to about 200 people. I mean, I say small because you know how our Asian
Yeah,
weddings are
of
extravagant,
course.
and everyone attended and they loved it. Like some were a bit skeptical. They're like, our first ever gay wedding, Indian wedding, what's it going to be like? Or it's going to be like this. And they loved it. And even till date, was it 2.5 years now? From our Indian wedding, they still talk about it.
Wow.
And even like my bar's brothers and sisters, they all respect us. They
Mm.
don't, to be honest, we've been very lucky, and I've been very lucky that
Yeah.
I've only had like about 10% amount of people that who've not been supportive.
Right.
Yeah, they've not been supportive, but
Mm.
everyone else is like, as you know, Priti, my dad was so huge in the Hindu community as well, and
Sure.
I've not had backlash from that, from being gay and married and now out in the open about it.
Yeah.
And I've had so much support and love. We both
Mm.
have.
Mm.
Um, when Nav comes to our Navratri or any family function or anything generally, people come up to her and talk to her, and other people are surprised, like, oh, this person, that person, and
Mm.
there's none of the like looking us under or anything of the sort. And
Mm.
we've had a huge blessing from the Hare Krishna Mandir as well, from day one, from our civil to even our wedding, to our Hindu wedding as well. We had one of the Prabhus, Gauri Prabhu, he attended our wedding and
Mm.
bought Mangla Prasad for us. And they have been so supportive from day one with us,
Mm.
blessing the jewelry, and
First
first Kankotri went to the mandir and everything. And
Yeah.
they've not looked us in any other manner. Like
Yeah.
for them, love is love, basically. That's what it is.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's just a few minority. It's more about their grandchildren or their children, making them understand about diversity
Yeah.
in
Mm.
the world, not only in the
Yeah.
UK, but diversity, then only will the older generation understand. But
Yeah.
we've been
Very
lucky
lucky.
that the older generation in their 80s, I'm talking about,
Yeah.
and even 90s have, you know,
completely supportive.
they're happy for us.
Yes, yeah. So not only are you both lesbians that have, got married, but you both had an interfaith marriage as well, and you actually did the Hindu feras, didn't you, when you got married? How do you think the community perceived that? Because there's quite a lot of people that are joining us live right now, and people are, I think they're quite shocked actually, that, and quite pleased for you. I've got Girta Patel saying how incredibly brave for you to speak out. Love is love, which is true. Love has no barriers. But during the actual Hindu wedding ceremony itself, were people quite shocked? I mean, were they expecting you just to have a civil marriage, maybe with a blessing, and especially, Kyati, the fact that you come from a very spiritual background, you're still very religious. I know that. I know from your posts, when it's like any religious day, you will always acknowledge that. And it's nice, when I've been speaking to both of you, Navdeep is also sending me messages, starting off with Jai Shri Krishna, as a way of greeting and for our bond as well. So, were people quite shocked with that?
No, not really. We didn't.
No?
I mean, we had our civil a year before. We had
6 months.
six
Right.
months before we had the Hindu wedding. We
Yeah.
actually wanted to do everything together.
Mm.
But this one decided to, it's going to be 5 years of us being together.
And then this
And
one,
it was on a
hang on,
Saturday. Why
you're
don't we have
blaming,
our civil
you're
then?
blaming me. And then this one then made the presumption, okay, let's do the civil then.
So we had the civil 6 months beforehand.
So,
But I mean, the people who attended our wedding, they knew how I've always seen how I want to get married. And obviously, when I met Nav as well, I told her as well, even though I'm in a same-sex relationship, I want my marriage to be like a proper Hindu marriage. She respected that as well. I said, look, even if we could do a Gurudwara, was it called the Lavas?
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind, but it's not allowed in the UK. You can in
Canada, there
America,
has been cases of it.
but here you're not allowed. Otherwise, I would have loved to do both.
Sure.
But none of them were shocked because we made a little booklet of how people do with the wedding, and we literally we did everything. So we had we had the Mendi night. I did the Manglik Prasango and the pre-wedding everything, the puja and everything, and then even our wedding day we did everything as it is traditionally. As we didn't even
we made amendments where it says
the man has to do this
and this, that,
Yeah, because even some of the traditional songs, like, when the groom would normally come in the Jan, Janni Gadi, when the Janni Gadi arrives, when the Bharat comes and there's the door players and all that. And then as you're approaching the mandap, when the groom approaches the mandap, you hear sometimes the song, Sita ne Torana Rama Patharya, very patriarchal, and I know that there's a religious significance to that as well. But it's really nice to know that you are still able to embrace the Hindu way of life. You are still able to do the feras and have that blessing, knowing very well that it was, really, really, special to you, especially to you, Kathy, and the fact that Navdeep respected that. What parts of the ceremony did you actually kind of change to suit you guys?
So Nav knows I love my music and I'm quite music orientated. So even before, when we were planning the whole wedding as well, I would listen to the Lagna Geet and listen to the lyrics to see. There were only specific parts that I wanted through our ceremony, and obviously I consulted you before we even went ahead with it.
Yeah, we sat down with.
There wasn't really a Jan because Nav walked in with her brothers.
Okay.
Yeah, with the siblings and mom and dad and them at the back.
Yeah.
And we looked into instrumental piece and then a Bollywood song.
Yeah.
Which again we looked at the lyrics.
Cut it where it then goes on talk about male and female.
Yeah, but it
So-
cut at the right point.
Yeah.
And then my entrance was Din Shagnada, which is generically female anyways.
Mm.
So that was my entrance. Then even when the parda drops, when she sees me and everything, we chose a Bollywood film. And again, everything was very lyrically orientated in the whole wedding ceremony. We made sure that the man perspective doesn't come into it as well. Even at our reception when we did the first dance, it was very like you're talking about a couple, not male female.
Yeah.
So in terms of Lagna Geet, we used Hasta Melap, but we cut it at the musician cut it at the right point, and then we used the Mangal Fera, but it was literally not the long bit where they talk about the whole thing. It was just basically Pelu Pelu, Biju Biju, Triju Triju, and then we did Akan Bhagyavati, because that is mainly all female. Those were actually basically the three Lagna Geet that we used, and everything else was Bollywood. Like even the Vidai songs were Bollywood as well. So yeah.
And in terms of a vidai, you're both having a vidai, aren't you? So were you both saying goodbye to your families?
I was crying more than Nav.
Let the truth come out, guys.
I was having a proper.
She
I was
was
crying.
She was having a proper vidai.
I was having a breakdown.
And literally was having.
I don't like vidais. That's why. Generally, I get very emotional.
Do you? Bless.
Yeah. So I mean, it was for both of us, but it was more based for her.
But you know, I'm the emotional people. Even with Bollywood films, I cry.
Yeah, that's
you're the soppy one then, are you? Which one of you wears the trousers in the relationship?
It's equally. One day it could be Nav, one day it could be me.
We're going 50-50.
Yeah,
we're going 50-50.
Yeah.
So you're both quite bossy then, are you? No, I'm joking.
in our own ways, yes.
In our own ways, yeah.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. So, last week on my show, we spoke about the importance of a Mangal Sutra. Did you both put a Mangal Sutra on each other? Or did one of you only put a Mangal Sutra on?
Hadi put the traditional Mangal Sutra. That's what she chose.
Which I wear every day.
She wears every day. And I chose to wear a chain with a Ganesha and a Rudra.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So that's what I chose. So I wear that every day. So that comes off. So that's what we chose, because I said to Kelly, I said, I like the Mangal Sutra aspect, but the one that I don't see myself wearing the traditional Mangal Sutra. So I was pleased with her in that aspect, and she said, no, that's fine.
Yeah, it's whatever you're comfortable with, absolutely.
I said I was happy to wear one.
Yeah, I see, Navdeep, that you've got a sindoor on. I can't see. Have you got one on?
Madam has one on.
Oh yeah, both of you have. So was that part of your ceremony as well? Was that something you adapted, where you did a sindoor on each other?
I did the classic thing, because when I was doing it on Nav, when I got it on my hand,
very embarrassing moment, especially
on her
when
nose.
photos and videos.
I have a lovely picture of that as
where
well.
I literally have got some good all over my face.
Really?
On your face.
Well, it's on my face.
Amazing, and that's such a romantic moment in itself. Isn't it?
I'm very filmy, and now I wanted the Mangal Sutra. I wanted the Mang as well, and had to be a Bollywood specific song. Yes, and that was hard to choose, because there's quite a few to choose.
There is quite a few.
Yes. With Mang Teri Saja Du Main,
yes.
Oh,
did you do? Oh, is that the song that you?
After like.
The old school one that everybody knows.
We had three top ones, and then one evening she goes, I really, really liked this one.
Yes, of course. Why not? Yeah. Do you think that, I mean, nowadays the LGBT community are coming out a lot more. We've seen, over the last century, I've certainly got lots of friends that are from the gay community. Some that, I thought that they were, but it didn't ever bother me. And some that I wasn't sure about, and Kathy, I've known you for a long time, so I didn't know, and you didn't know yourself. So, until you decided to get married, I didn't know, but it was totally cool. But there's still people out there that find it very, very difficult to digest. I myself, and I spoke to you both about this a little while ago before we went live, And that was, I actually had a message come through from somebody to say, I can't believe you are going to be speaking to a gay couple. Do you know what this is going to do to your reputation? And I thought, actually, you know what? To hell with you guys. I'm not really bothered, because at the end of the day, I accept them as human beings, as two souls that are in love, whether they're both females or males, whatever they are. It doesn't bother me. I see them as people. So why is it bothering you that I'm going to be speaking to them today? But do you get that reaction from people, and how do you overcome that?
So we can tell you a really funny and interesting story. When we had our civil back in December 2017, obviously my background, you've known me for so many years.
Yeah.
A message went, they took a picture of, I think, one of our Facebooks, and it went global. It literally went like wildfire. We only found out the next day, and just saying that, oh, you know, this picture's gone around. Why are you doing this? Why are you, you know, naming the like shaming the family and stuff. I'm like, well, that's got nothing to do with us, because both our ceremonies, at the civil and the Hindu, we had a social media request of people not to stick things on social media, except for like Snapchat, but we know so stuff like that. So this picture literally went crazy. I don't know who created the picture.
It does look like that somebody took it from one of our Facebooks,
but it's what they wrote
so
on it.
Basically,
like,
they brought up about Kathy's
dad's name, and
really?
just gets married to a woman.
Gets married to Sikh girl.
No, that was the other thing.
No, this was that
Oh,
one.
okay.
This was that one. This was Sikh girl from Punjabi community. So that basically went round the whole world.
It was upsetting that they used dad's name.
Of course, yes.
Around anymore.
Yeah.
It literally went worldwide. We didn't get backlash for it. I mean, there was one of Andavadi news online. They wanted to, I can't remember the name of it. They wanted to interview us, but it was too soon for us to do that step and to go ahead. And we were just like, it literally went India, Kenya, you name it. It reached everywhere.
Really? Wow.
And then it died down within 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Then once that died down,
Yeah.
Hindu Forum of Britain, as we know,
Oh yeah.
they got a message from the Sikh community, and their issue was a Sikh girl marries Hindu girl.
Oh really?
The issue wasn't that we were lesbians. Their issue was a Sikh girl married a Hindu girl.
Right.
Yeah.
You mean in the traditional manner, or so was it? So it's more about interfaith rather than
they were more engrossed in the fact that it was interfaith than anything else,
which was a laughing matter for us.
Hindu
Forum dealt with it. I mean, they spoke to me. They spoke to us. They dealt with it, and that was it. And since then, there was nothing. Even when we had our Hindu wedding 6 months later, there was nothing going viral, because it all happened already 6 months ago.
Sure.
And we were out there, you know, family was supportive, have been supportive, still are supportive. So there was nothing for them to just circulate around for us, because we haven't done anything wrong.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And a lot of the people that are joining, I'm just going to quickly go to some of the people that are messaging us. We've got Chandni Kuteta saying, love has no gender. We also have Raj Rawat joining us. Chandni sending you lots and lots of claps. We have the lovely Tulsi joining us as well, and she's laughing at you guys calling yourself, especially you, Kathy, saying you're filmy. Yes, I like the filmy thing. So I don't know if you've seen on some of the social media posts, we've actually attached some filmy music to it. I had a feeling, I had an inclination that you're definitely filmy. So there is lots of filmy music attached to that. We have Pushpa Kara saying, this is beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. We have Tulsi is also saying that it was a beautiful wedding that both of you had. Khan Mosaic saying this is from Manchester, is saying this is an interesting interview. Well, it's not just because it's interesting. I'm just hoping that people will learn to be more acceptable. The fact that we are living in changing times, and it's about time people started to accept the LGBT community as individuals, and I think that's really, really important. And that's why I really embrace both of you here joining me today, because I think that's really, really important that, you know, there's probably so many people in the same situation as you guys, and you both have had, you know, the support of your families from the onset. I know, you know, you had a few ups and downs, like you said, Kathy, initially, and of course from the wider community. So that's quite interesting, where your families, when they got around to accepting and enjoying the celebrations leading up to your wedding, and of course on your wedding day, it's quite interesting where you say the Sikh community wrote to the Hindu community as a whole. So one organization writing to another, when it's actually not in anyone's control. You're both individuals living here in the UK, and you actually have your own, you know, human rights. You know, if you want to engage in matrimony, you can. So that's quite interesting. But I'm glad that that was put to sleep very, very quickly, because I think it's really important.
A week.
Yeah.
I think Hindu Forum dealt with it, and that was the end of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So within 3 weeks of our civil, everything just died down.
Yeah, died down. And then
Yeah.
obviously it was the celebration of the Hindu marriage, which the
There was no
wedding,
backlash.
and we had no backlash. And everybody was very quiet, and everybody enjoyed themselves.
So I know that you go to the Hare Krishna temple, because you've just mentioned the support there. What about if you went into the Gurdwara Navdeep? Are you welcomed as a married couple into the Gurdwara, or do they still find it a little bit awkward?
We just, well, honestly, we just go to just do Matha Day.
You just go, okay, you go and do your Mathatek, and
Yeah, and we just go for, you know, to just, and we sit there for a little while, for however long we feel we should.
Sure.
But that's it really. I mean, I may be a Sikh, inform that, but I'm not practicing. And I'm more, I mean, Caddy
I
knows
think I
it.
listen to more Kirtans than you do.
Yeah, she probably does, to be honest. She probably does listen. She probably do more, listen to more. I'm more spiritual.
sure.
I guess as an individual, I chose that path, not because of religion and just stuff like that, or
Of course.
I am. I just made that decision to be more spiritual. I felt more connected in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, for going to the Buddha, it's just basically that really for us.
Yeah. It's more about accepting. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm very much the same, I think, and I think it's what people label you as. But for me, I'm very much spiritual as well.
I'd like to share something funny with you when you went to India.
Oh yes, please do. Please do.
India, wedding shopping.
Yes.
This is a story and a half.
So it started off in and it followed on to Bombay, where we did we went Punjab and Mumbai to do our shopping, and it all started off with Madam in Punjab, when I was gonna get, because even though we had the Hindu wedding, I still wanted to do the churas and the kalires.
Yeah.
And we wanted to do Dukki in Golden Temple as well, before we had the the Hindu wedding. So we went.
No, but it wasn't our fault. So let me tell the story. It wasn't our fault. It was basically, we had a driver while we were in Punjab and Amritsar. So driver basically kind of worked out that Asisate was together.
Right.
So I'm talking to him in Punjabi, so he goes, first day we were there, and he goes, "Oh lie, I know you're two people together. And he goes, you're Punjabi and she's Punjabi." And he didn't have a problem with it. So
Yeah.
What is it that you? Because he goes, you come for something, because you said you're not from here, you're from another town. So I said, yeah. So I said, we've come to do wedding shopping. I said, Madam wants to wear a chura, and she wants to buy the klire and everything. She wants to buy paranda and everything else, and to get a few suits and stuff. Because her Mendi night was based on Punjabi theme, colourful Punjabi.
Yeah.
So he said, that's not a problem. He said, so do this. Turn around and say, she's getting married to your brother.
The taxi driver said that to you?
This is our driver. He goes, he stayed with us for the 3-4 days we were there. He said, you turn around and say, you come that your brother lives in England, and you come from Delhi, say for example, I said, yeah. He said, you've come to do wedding shopping, but he didn't want her to be on her own. So I said, okay. So he goes, you basically just got to say that to them in Punjabi. So I did, not a problem. And he goes, don't take any nonsense from her, because they're gonna, as soon as she walks in, they're gonna raise the price to something silly.
Right.
So I knew they'd do that because
Yeah.
my dad have taught us that
Yeah.
we can see that you're not from India. So they do that. So we went in there and everything. So the whole wedding shopping that we did, this is basically what we turned around and said. That
But
she's
in
getting
Bombay, it was Mumbai. It was funny because she's obviously getting her outfit done,
Yeah.
measured to her size, and they're just asking. They're like, "Yeah, it's for her brother. She's marrying my brother. We're the same size."
That's what we do.
Really?
And then they were like, oh, do you need it a little bit like this? I said, yeah. I said, he's a bit like that. So I said, you need to do it like this. But this is basically how we had to do it.
But it worked. Even though Section 377 is fine then, but it's India. People are a bit.
Yeah, that is true. But I think they kind of, like in the main cities like Bombay, Mumbai, they kind of knew. That's why they didn't question too much. They weren't faffing really or anything. They were very attentive. They were like, would you like to match this and this and this and this? They were pretty on it.
Really?
Very surprising from what you know already. Which was really, to be honest, it was actually quite nice that they were paying and being acknowledgeable about, and they knew you were lying. Like in Mumbai, they knew definitely you were lying and that it was for me.
Yeah.
No,
but you just don't know how they're going to react.
Okay.
Like one place we did actually say, I think that was in Benza, and he said, so you need a reception outfit. He goes, oh, you're getting married, and I said, yeah. He said, so why don't you go to the female section? So I said, So I was honest with him, and I said, look, I said, you can quite clearly see it, right? And he just looked at me and he goes, that I can see. And he moved his head around like this, and I said, okay. He said, so it's you two, right? And I said, yeah. He said, so you don't want to wear a traditional female outfit? I said, no. So he goes, okay. He said, we've got some nice stuff in the men's department. And he goes, what are you looking for? I said, like a sherwani, but I said more like with a female cut, so more feminine, like colorful and everything else. And he goes, you know what? I've got a perfect outfit, and he got that out, and that was absolutely amazing. So and it matched exactly, funnily enough, with her outfit that we got right at the beginning of the holiday. So, which it all fell into place. But like you said, and like Kathy just said, you have to. You're not sure who and how they'll react, and if they react in a nice way, a nice manner.
Sure. Yeah.
That is kind of
the thing is, I mean, you two, just looking at you now, I mean, you look like an item. There's a lot of chemistry between you there, and I'm sure all the viewers right now are going to agree with me. There's
don't get Kathy excited, Priti. You think she can do an item number in a Bollywood film?
She might start singing a Bollywood film in a little while. Sorry, a Bollywood song in a little while. We can always play some Bollywood music for you if need be, Kathy. So just I don't even think we need it right now. We can definitely see. Don't you guys agree with me? For those of you that are joining us, let me just go back to the messages. We've got Hink saying, "Awesome couple, so proud of you guys." We have Bernard joining us as well. Kathy, your sister. The Asian community have issues if you marry an Asian. Nisha Budhya saying, super proud of my bestie Kathy and Nav. You did it, guys. So brave. Oh, that's so nice. That your best friend is also very, very supportive of that. Kajal Patel saying, so proud of you ladies. Beautiful wedding for sure. And Dulcie saying, smashed it, besties. So there's certainly a lot of support out there for you both. But here's another question for you. Do people think, and I know Nav, you kind of touched up on this, do people actually think that you're just going through a phase? This is just fashion. It's a fashion statement. You'll get over it. This is nowadays, aajkal ki ladkiya, or whatever, youngsters, they're going around exploring, but really, they'll come back, especially amongst the elder lot. You said that, your mum said Are you sure? Don't label yourself.
Yeah.
Do you get that from some of the youngsters as well? That
Yes.
you'll get over it.
We do. We
Really?
do. University students do this a lot. I mean, talking to others, and they do. It is a fact. The way my mom said it to me, I was thankful she said it, if I'll be honest, because it was an understanding that she needed to understand it.
Yeah.
I said to Mum, I was very honest with her, and I said, Mum, I've known for a long time. So when she said to me, how long? And I told her how long. I said, but it confirmed it when I left school.
Right.
When I was going to college and stuff like
Mm.
that. When I learned then, at that age, 16, 17, 18, by the time I was 18, I was absolutely positive because I thought, okay, even hormones could be up and down then as well, but I knew that I preferred women than to men.
Have you ever felt attracted to men?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course, I mean, you have the crushes while you were in secondary school. Everybody does that, but your hormones all over the place, and it's a like Heather
That's
was
what
saying.
feels natural.
Yeah, and then I mean, I thought back then in secondary school that it was natural to have a crush on a man, on a man, and I did. But yeah, I mean, I found myself and I confirmed it to myself, and I think that's what it needed. I needed to confirm it to myself, and once I told my mom that, and it did take a month because we were talking back and forth. It wasn't long conversations; it was very short conversations, and I think it was based on the understanding between parent and child.
Sure.
That if we had a longer conversation, like for an hour or 2 hours, and we would have, as they say, as some people say, you would have minced the conversation, and it most likely would have led to a argument where my mom's very sensible in that manner, and she's taught us to be the same. That if you want to have a conversation, keep it short, keep it simple, and we can come back to it. It's not a problem. We can come back to it tomorrow, a week from now, whenever you feel. So I guess on that aspect, yeah, it took my mum a little bit longer, but she was on it after that.
Really?
Once she understood it, and I think she needed to understand the whole thing within herself, she had no problem. She just said to me, she goes, your dad's right. There's no difference. There isn't a difference. I don't even know why I was getting upset that I had imagination and an image that you'd marry a man. But she goes, I guess because I was at home and looking after you, I thought this. And I said, Mom, that is absolutely acceptable for you to do. I said, you're a parent, and I said that is acceptable. But the fact that you're talking to me about it is the amazing thing. Instead of lashing out and getting upset and having an argument and not knowing how to deal with the situation, you're talking to me. I said, that's perfect. But other friends that have gone through it,
I mean,
they do.
When people go to university, for them it's like they want to just experiment.
Yeah.
That's
some people do want to experiment. We're not going to deny that.
And it's not only in the UK.
So when you say experiment, that's just for their own sake to test out whether they are or not.
Yeah. What they're feeling,
or just for fun, whatever.
Or just for fun.
It's like I said this to Caddy. I said, Caddy, there's an 8-year difference between us.
Right.
And the whole world, no, that's fine. Everyone can know that. I mean, they'll all know that anyway. Most people.
Giving away your age.
8-year gap between us. And I've always said to her, I said, you know what? The thing is, people keep saying I have to label myself. You don't need to label yourself.
You don't, no.
Whatever you want to be. I could be walking past somebody on the street and not know that I've just walked past somebody who's transgender.
Yeah.
I would think, wow, that is a good looking man. I appreciate that.
Yes, of course.
I appreciate that, and I'm honest about that. But then find out a week later through a friend, that person that we walk past, blah, 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 and they'll start gossiping about it, and then it'll be the next thing, they're transgender. So they were actually a female before. I said, but does it make a difference?
Does it matter? Yeah, exactly. What is there? Yes,
and
yes.
That's the same thing in the whole community, generally, people, humanity. You do not
absolutely. Very, very true.
It's changing a lot. A lot now as well, especially with platforms like Netflix and stuff like that.
Yeah.
With South Asian stuff, they are showing a lot of Indian and Pakistani stuff with LGBT stuff on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
And rightly so. Rightly so.
It's good that they're doing it, but it just
Yeah.
depends if
Mm.
whoever's watching it, if they're watching it with their parents or grandparents, and
Yeah.
how they accept it. So
Sure.
I mean, we've got friends our age that are not out to their family, and we tell them that you're hitting 40 soon, which is
Yeah.
away, but yeah, like we tell them like you're hitting 30, you're hitting 40. Are you
Yeah.
always going to be behind the closet? Do you not want to? I mean,
It's not that. It's not that.
I could be
It's-
selfish
it's-
for saying it because
No. But it's not that. It's we say it in more to the aspect, to the aspect of having to live a double life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
It's being dishonest.
it's not just dishonest, but it's just having
Just
to live a
live your
double
life, you know.
living a double life is very difficult for
And
a lot of
how
people.
long are you going
And how
to?
long are you gonna not be able to be yourself and just be you?
Yeah.
Because you know what, living a double life, you have to be careful 24/7.
Of course.
What you say to, who you say it to,
Where
and when
you're
you're
going
saying it,
out,
where you're
everything.
going, everything.
Mm.
Yes, it is difficult. I'm not saying that to come out
Yeah.
as being gay,
Yeah.
and for, like you said, for the older community to accept it, and even your own age, for
But
the
then-
siblings to accept it. It's difficult.
Yeah. Of course.
How we
Yeah.
heard about women.
I mean, Kathy, going back to you then, because you said, of course, Nav knew from when she was about 6, 7, and like you said, Nav, you had crushes because on men because you thought that was the norm back then. To fit into society, you felt that you had to have a crush. That's the way we were all kind of brought up. That's norm, male, female. But Kathy, you said that you were on a path of discovery, so you didn't actually know yourself that you were a lesbian until your early 20s.
Well, late 20s actually. It was,
Late 20s. Oh,
it
really?
was 2010 actually.
Okay.
2010. I was just wondering, and I'm like, do you know what? It was just in my head. I'm like, I like men, but I like women more.
So would you call yourself a bi? You're definitely not bisexual.
When I came out, yes, I did think I was bisexual.
There's
Right.
another story behind that. Priti.
I did actually
Okay.
think.
There's another story behind.
I won't talk about that today. But that's what I thought. Even when I came out, even when I started to go out in the LGBT scene as well, I was, confused. But I was more leaning towards women. I found women attractive, and more than men. Even now, I do appreciate a good-looking man, and we both check him out as we say, and
Yeah.
And discuss it.
and discuss it openly. But then over the year, I think it was 3 years later, then I said, I'm not bisexual. I actually want to be in a relationship with women.
Okay.
And even trying to find the right person, it did take me a lot of trial and errors. And then I also had that thought sake in my head that, oh my God, I can't believe, when you're with a woman and a woman, it's just like your hormones and everything is exactly the same.
Everything
It's like, yeah, it's just crazy.
Of course. Yes.
But then I met this madam, and married her. And in terms of, so it was 2010. I came out to myself. Slowly told my best friends and my sister and a few other close friends. Told them about it, and I didn't really get the "Are you sure?" etc. etc. And they knew I was trying to look for somebody. And even coming onto the, going out clubbing into bars, it was like, whoa, like, wow, there's so many South Asian people out there. I'm like, why don't I know about this? Why didn't I know about these nights or anything? And it was like, gosh. And then I was literally going every month to the nights.
Okay.
Up until COVID happened, we were still going as well.
Okay.
And the couple as well.
But,
and we're respected amongst our friends as well and our community as well.
But we
go to support them as well.
Yeah.
But in terms of I actually came out to mum. I wanted to tell dad at the end of in 2013, but unfortunately he passed away. So I didn't. But I was ready to tell him, although I think he knew.
Okay.
Your parents.
Yeah, they do have an inclination.
After dad passed away, my mum was like, "Oh, chopro kya with this? When you're gonna find a man, you need to settle down, etc., etc." And I was just like, flogging her off. I could, and then eventually one day, because she used to see Nav so often, And then in 2015, me and Mum were watching TV, and I think it was a scene where it was something to do with LGBT, and I'm like, "Oh, Mum, you know, Nav, she isn't a close friend of mine. She's actually my partner." And Mum was fine with it.
Oh, really? So that was while you're watching something. You took that
Yeah, it was just
opportunity.
me and Mum.
Wow.
She was fine with it. Like, you know, Mum's just fine with it. She loves Nav, and Anna loves Nav, and the kids love Nav, and everyone loves Nav, to be honest. So,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not safe. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's just, you know, my family love Nav. She can,
Good.
like, if we have somewhere to go, she'll continue with the conversation until I'm like,
Mm.
okay, now we've got to go.
Mm.
Yeah, Mum, you know, Mum being a widow. I wanted her to do the ceremony even without Dad not being there, because they normally say, "Apra, no, you can't. A widow
Yeah,
can't do," but you can, because
of
in
course.
the books it's not written that they can't do it.
No.
Mum did the whole ceremony with
Yeah.
Nav's parents as well. You know, when she came down the aisle and all the vidis and stuff, and
Yeah.
even under the mandap, Mum did everything like
Sure.
how I wanted it,
How we
because I
wanted
didn't
to
want
go.
anybody else apart from Mum and Dad to do it. But Dad was there in spirit, but Mum
Okay.
did everything, and
Mm.
everything went to how we
Yeah.
wanted it.
Brilliant. So you mentioned that you've got quite a lot of friends who you both actually support. They're probably from the LGBT community. There's people that are joining us right now from the same community. What advice would you give to them? It's so comforting and so nice to hear the fact that, after a little bit of battle, you overcame some of the struggles with the wider community. It sounds like you didn't have many issues with your own direct family, and there's a lot of acceptance there. But for those that are struggling, and we all hear about these horror stories in the media about, people doing the wrong things sometimes, maybe
Yeah.
even taking their own lives because they just don't know how to address the issue of being gay with their parents. What advice do you have for them?
Well, you know, even with us, we've had our struggles as well. But
Mm.
you know, you got to believe in yourself, and
Yeah.
you got to look at your future.
But
But
don't underestimate
yeah,
your parents
don't
too much.
underestimate your parents, because you know the saying goes, a mother always knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She carried you for 9 months.
Yeah.
Like, no matter how much you're hiding it, the mother always knows. Maybe the father doesn't, but the mother always knows.
Yeah.
And don't underestimate them. You know, start gradually if you're scared.
Mm.
But it all starts within yourself. You got to love yourself and not have fear within yourself.
Correct.
Mm.
It's like, and you just got to focus on what you want and manifest in what you want out of your life. And
No, you're
just
right.
you
You're
just
100%.
you just
It
gotta.
is. It is difficult. We're not saying that it's not.
It's
No.
not.
Because
There must be, I know there's support groups out there, but mental health issues amongst
is
the, you know, not I'm not just talking amongst the gay community, but even more so, if you're Asian, you both got, had an interfaith marriage, you're both Indian, now, I know you said that you're not practicing Sikh, but you've got married to a Hindu. So there was that. Then the other thing being Indian, then being gay, and all that stress, all that mental health, the issues that you must have faced, and the issues that other individuals have to face.
yeah, true.
Tell me a little bit more about that kind of experience.
I think with me, I had. I mean, I'm not going to deny I did have mental health. I was my first ever girlfriend. I lost to cancer.
Oh, okay, sorry to hear that.
I was a teen then, I was a teenager, and from there, I found it very difficult, and I couldn't accept it. Um, I did seek help. I
Mm.
went for counselling, and that's where I became aware of mental health back then. So from there, there's a lot of things that you could do, like manifesting, like Abby said, mindfulness,
Mm.
and just taking meditation, taking time out, even if it's 10 minutes a day,
Yeah.
just to close yourself off from your mobile phone, from social media,
Mm.
from TV, from any other sound that's coming into that specific space that you're in. You could be in a room or in closed space, whatever, and just take time to reflect on yourself. It does help.
Sure.
I've always struggled with it since then.
Mm.
It's been up and down. It hasn't helped finding out. I mean, I can be open about this. That I've got multiple. I found out when I was turning 21. The year.
Sorry, have you? I'm just going to stop you. Have you got a fan on because it's distorting?
Can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you. Sorry, you're going to have to say that bit again.
I basically found out that I've got multiple sclerosis.
Oh, sorry to hear
Finding
that.
out you have multiple sclerosis, it's been hard. I've had partners in the past that cannot accept it or deal with it, and do not want to deal with it. But for me, this is one of the reasons when we got together, I was shocked that she accepted that. You know, she didn't look at the fact that I have any medical condition. She looked past that. She looked at me as a person.
Yes.
Which for me was a very big thing, because I've never experienced that. It was always, yo, you've got this, you've got that, I can't deal with this, which was fine, and it was absolutely perfect for me because I was looking at her as an individual. I wasn't looking at who her dad was or what she does in the community or what her job was, anything. I was looking at her as a person. I liked her personality.
Yeah.
But with mental health, again, that was another problem. Finding out I've got multiple sclerosis, the wider side of the family, I won't name or shame anybody, a lot of people turned around and said, you're mental, there's something wrong with you.
Really?
And they took it in that aspect. Now, the thing is, again, there's not a lot of awareness about multiple sclerosis and about other things.
Yeah.
We don't realize that with multiple sclerosis, one of the side effects is mental health.
Yeah.
And anxiety and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And having anxiety, which I most likely will live with the rest of my life, and having mental health again, but I have to learn to be able to control it in a manner of being able to accept it and to build and work on it.
Yeah.
I've done that. I mean, it's been hard, not been easy, and I've taken that with some friends when they've discussed with me. I don't know how to come out to my family. One of the main things I've been honest about is from seeing Caddy's experience and seeing a few other friends, their experiences, don't come out unless you've come out to yourself. So if you've not still stood in front of the mirror and said to yourself, I'm gay, and I accept that I'm gay, or I'm a lesbian, or however you want to put it, and that you are comfortable within yourself or who you are, you can't accept you, then nobody will accept you. Nobody else will be able to accept you because you'll never see it that they do accept you.
Yeah.
And it's a very hard thing to do, to accept yourself. It took me time.
Yeah.
I mean, from the age of 16 to about 15, 16 to about 18, I kept denying the fact that I liked women. I preferred women. And I went on dates with men, and most of them are still my friends even today.
Yeah.
And they all turned around and said on the first date, no, we're more like brothers and sisters, so this is not going to work.
Yeah.
And I would laugh at the time, and we stayed friends. And none of them have discriminated against me for being this way inclined, for being gay. Which I've been very lucky and thankful for that. I've been grateful for the fact that I haven't had a lot of discrimination. But like you said, with mental health, it is very hard.
Yeah.
But seeking help, there are places you can go to. There are people you could, and don't be afraid to use it. Kathy's 100% right there. Because even if you can't go to places or ring a number or anything, text is fine. Emailing is fine. And even if you have friends, talk to your friends. Don't think that your friends will discriminate against you. They won't. You'll be very surprised.
One of the issues with mental health is overthinking.
Correct.
Which is just your head's all over the place. But
it's like your head is just on overdrive.
You need to let it out, and if you can't talk to your friends, there are loads of LGBT helplines within the UK as well. Forums online. I mean, some of the Stonewall is a huge one. There's a LGBT switchboard. Is Mind as well. I mean, everyone knows about Mind, and they help LGBT. The Samaritans are there 24 hours over the phone, and they will listen. We've actually got friends working in the Samaritans, and they don't discuss what's happened, but it does take a toll on them. There's there's literally so much. There's like what's the other ones that we know? I mean, there's I think, there's actually one we came across that didn't know existed. It's a Desi LGBTQ helpline.
Okay.
For South Asians,
we didn't know that existed.
We didn't know it existed, but
we
there
knew about
is.
the others, but we
it's
just
a
didn't know about
helpline.
this one.
Okay.
And I mean, to be honest, we can help as well because
Sure.
okay, we know people are suffering out there
Yeah.
worldwide, not only within the UK.
Yeah.
And we are there to help because in the future, in the near future, is something that both Nav and I, with a couple of friends, want to do is help LGBT people with mental health.
I mean, the fact that we've been through it.
Yeah.
We thought we didn't have anybody there that would still stand with us and be support in that
Of
manner.
course. Yeah.
And there wasn't to begin with. With mental health, that you feel as if there is no support. There is nobody I could turn to.
Yeah.
There are people, and you don't realize it.
And it's been extremely difficult right now because of COVID as well.
COVID. Yes.
They're not able to go out and about. They're just stuck indoors, and you know, if they're living with their parents, they've got their parents constantly down there. They just can't live themselves. But as we both said, trust in yourself first and listen to yourself.
Yeah.
When it comes to coming out, you have to be positive within yourself. You have to have a positive mindset and just be focused in what you want to achieve in the future.
Of course.
It's easy. I know everyone uses the slogan "Love is love," and you're looking at your happiness. Love wins. But we know how difficult it is. We do a lot of stuff around as well.
I mean, we hear stories all the time through friends and everything.
Yeah, there's always someone there. You've just got to sometimes seek it. There is, you said, you found the Desi LGBT kind of helpline, which you didn't even know about existed. So sometimes, I think even if you Google it, you can find, and you've already mentioned quite a lot of different help groups for people out there that are watching us live right now as well. And it's great to know that you've also offered yourselves, if anybody out there wants to have a chat, it's nice to know that you're there for them. Yeah. One final, sorry now.
We're always here.
Well, I mean, you both have been through it, and you both, are probably still going through it to a certain extent, because each day, like you said, some people will still point fingers and say, oh, see those two, they're both lesbians. Not everyone's going to accept it. But what difference does it make if a lesbian couple was to walk past you in a supermarket? Why stare at them? Why make a big deal about it? It's just normal. There needs to be some, wider education that actually they're humans first before anything else, and we all have feelings. Whether you're gay, lesbian, whichever community you're from, we all have emotions, and it's how we deal with those emotions. And the biggest hurt is when somebody points fingers at you for being abnormal or seen as that's not normal, because it's that which I'm trying and educate, through these chats that we have, once a week, and the fact that you two have both happily, come over some of those hurdles and are now living a happily married life. One question that I'd also like to ask is about children. What about children? How about children? Are you guys gonna, think about having children? Because that's probably another question, maybe that, again, the bars, the grandmas, what about that?
Well, I mean, it was in our feras, really.
And the feras, I was going to say, part of your feras, one of the vows, yeah.
Yeah, we do want to have children.
Well, we were pregnant earlier this year. But unfortunately, we lost them. We say them because unexpectedly we were having twins.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Kathy suffered a miscarriage in March.
Yeah. So
right at the beginning of the lockdown.
Sorry, I'm losing you now. Sorry.
So right at the beginning of the lockdown, at the end of March, Kathy suffered a miscarriage. with the twins. So it was
heartbreaking.
It was
but it's not.
heartbreaking.
I mean, it's we do want children,
no, we do. Definitely.
and we're hopefully planning for next year again, depending on this beautiful COVID that we have, depending on the situation. But yeah, I mean, even though we tell people about the miscarriages, we've had lots of people in the last how many months is it now? Since they just ask, how do you do it?
Go ahead?
How does it work for same sex? And to say in short, it's basically find a sperm donor and use your own eggs. And this is for a lesbian couple, because for gay men, we're not fully sure about how it works for them. But
they would need
for a lesbian couple, freeze your eggs.
Is it both of your eggs? Is it both your eggs?
Only no, it's each individual's eggs.
Okay.
But they do have a new treatment.
But they do have a new treatment where you can use
both the eggs,
and then use the sperm donor.
But it's not,
so it's basically
it's
not 100% available in the UK. There's only 2 clinics in the UK.
And then you find a sperm donor.
And take your time. It took us 4 months
to find.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, IVF, that's what it is.
IVF is pretty.
Again, when you're doing the IVF, just be careful. And I mean, I was very careful the first time around as well. And listen to yourself, listen to your body. There's lots of therapies out there as well.
Yeah.
I mean, there's one that we've done and we'll be doing as well. It's called Arvigo therapy. And I mean, even heterosexual couples don't even know what Arvigo therapy is. But myself and my sister have done it, and hands down, I will tell everybody who's watching who wants to get pregnant normally or through IVF, try Arvigo therapy. It is amazing. It's amazing. But yeah, we want a family of I don't know how many. Whatever one blesses us with.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
we get.
Great. That's really, really great to know. And today has been, really heartwarming for me. And I'm sure it has for lots of people as well. And before we actually finish, I'm just going to go through some of the messages. We've had lots and lots of messages come through. So I'm going to scroll right, because you guys can't see these messages, can you?
No.
You're able to view them after the show. Certainly come up on the social media pages. But we've had a lot of support for you guys. Janvi saying hello to you both. This is amazing what you guys are doing. As someone who is Indian and part of the LGBTQ community, I applaud you. Thank you for your message, Chandani. Dharmesh seems like he's in shock. Dharmesh Mystery, he's saying, "Oh my God." Not sure why the "Oh my God," but you're not. We know sometimes people are going to find it difficult to digest, but each to their own. Jalpa, you've sent the wrong message to. That's fine. Darshan saying, "Hey girls, best wedding ever." So it's obviously somebody who attended your wedding. Darshan Basani, so obviously you know that. Peter Singh saying, "These two are such an inspiration." And yes, thank you, Peter Singh from Balma organization for sharing the information that we've been posting out on social media today. Thank you so much for sharing that on your Insta page. And these girls are absolutely amazing, you're right, and very, very inspirational. Chandaben is saying a beautiful couple. Girta Patel, how incredibly brave. We've already covered that. Khan Mosaic from Manchester saying a very interesting conversation going on. Chandani again saying this is incredibly inspiring and beautiful. So once again, thank you for that. Bushpa Kara saying this is beautiful. Dharmesh Mystery saying, "Is this Corona love?" No, they have been in love for a long, long time. So when did you guys actually? This is not Corona love. This is not. It's not Corona love. They've been in love. They've been married for nearly 3 years now. So no. It's not just happened. I bet he's thinking he's one of these guys that thinks they'll get over it. They're just being bored over lockdown. They'll get over it. I think that's what Dharmesh is probably thinking. Tulsi having a laugh about when you commented on it being filmy. Pushpa saying ha 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 filmy. Raj Singh Rawat sending you thumbs up. We've had lots and lots of love hearts coming your way. Janni saying love has no agenda. Dharmesh saying no tang tang. I'm not sure what that means. No tang tang? No idea.
I didn't
Go
get
ahead.
that. I don't know what
Whatever that means, but no tang tang. Okay, whatever that means. Anjana from India has written, every person has the right to live with what they want. Absolutely. Panna saying, well done, girls. Shinaz saying, good luck, beautiful souls. Panna also saying, kids are screaming Masi. So Panna, just for the benefit of all the other people that are joining this live, Panna is the sister of Khyati, and of course now Navdeep as well. And at some point, I am going to get Panna on the show because Panna too has a very interesting story to share, which we will have her on. I haven't spoken to her about it yet, but I know she won't say no. Tina saying, so proud of my best friend and her wifey talking about their experience. Thank you for that. Kirta saying, the LGBT communities have existed in Taboo for many years. It is good to see that people are finally acknowledging and accepting the LGBT community. Here's another question. Do you think, so this is going back, grandparents' age, this is going back to the, the age of 80, 90. They must have been people that were gay then, but they were never able to express themselves. That must have destroyed them. Because this isn't a fashion statement, is it? This is an emotion. This is real feelings. So
Elton John, George Michael, like how hard was it for them? And it's been around for years. Even our one of our
scriptures.
Well, yeah, one of our friends, he reads a lot, and he actually said to us, there's actually 3 genders in our shastras. There's male, female, and then there's a 3rd gender, which is over there, and that's written in our scriptures from way before. And it's most likely been around for 200 or more years, but we don't know how hard it was for them. Like,
I mean, it's hard enough now, but those people that had to live, back in the villages and say in India or, back in their native villages, how difficult it must have been. The fact that they can't even express themselves, that must have been very difficult.
I've always told Kevin, I've heard stories like growing up and about people who are gay, that say, for example, only daughter or their only son, and they've made the decision, and in fact they've had an arranged marriage, but they've actually told the partner that the person they're about to marry that, you know what, I'm going to tell you the truth, I am gay, I'm the other way inclined, but I need to keep my family happy. So how are we going to get out? Because if you don't want to get married, then that's fine, we won't get married. And a couple of them, especially males, men, arranged marriage, told the soon-to-be wife everything about themselves and said, look, I will make sure that you, and if we have any children in the future, are settled. You will be financially stable, you have a roof over your head, you have everything. But I'm not going to lie to you that I do like men, I prefer men, and I'm going to have a boyfriend or this or that or whatever.
Yeah.
They worked it out. And it astonishes me to know these stories, to be like, wow, back then, this is what they would do to cover up and still be able to live and be who they wanted to be. But and this is in the Asian community. This is But now these days, everybody wants to be who they want to be, right? So it's more open. It's not.
And I'm sure in some of the gay clubs and pubs that you hang out at, go to, there must be the older generation, married, like you just described, married with kids that need to explore, and they go out to some of these clubs just to.
We've seen it with our
We've seen it all.
We've seen it with our own eyes.
We've seen the uncles and the aunties that claim to be straight out at these clubs.
More so than aunties.
No, I've seen a few aunties.
Okay, I've seen uncles more than aunties.
But I have the aunties and the uncles. So if the uncles,
these aunties, they come dressed out like something else. And you know what? Good on them. That's why I always say, good on them. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. But I think I mean, that's their way of being able to express themselves by going out to these clubs and pubs, because they're still living that double life like you just expressed, and they probably have that family unit that they don't want to spoil. So they're just saying, I'll have my little bit of fun on a Friday or Saturday night, and that's fine. And they may be fine about it, you know. But, you know, hopefully this will inspire some people that are watching. Pushpa is saying, Tujhe dekha to ye jana sanam. Oh, look, she's singing a Bollywood for you, you know that. Vimal Buddev saying, great show, Priti, good luck to both. Spread the love and happiness. Thank you so much for that. Sharmila saying, you guys are amazing. We are proud of you. Was an awesome couple on the day. Blessed to be part of your celebrations. Panna, again, just saying, just want to say these two girls fight and make up after a couple, just like a normal couple. My kids love them so much. Go on. Just make up, guys. If you've been fighting before this.
No, we do make up. You can also, my best
but
friends.
The thing is, you have to look at it.
That's funny. Of course, you are a normal couple, absolutely, and that is normal.
It could be siblings, parents, your partner. It could be even with your own child. You can have an argument with your own child.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, okay, one more question that's just come to mind. When you have children, are you, because you call yourself Mrs. and Mrs., which is absolutely fine, will you both be called mums, both to your children?
Yes.
Just because it's another question that I'm sure people want to know. You're not going to be mum and dad, because it is mum and mum, and it is Mrs. and Mrs. Okay, that's just for my own clarity. That's because I'm sure that's going around in other people's heads as well. It would have been great if more of the parents were an audience to this live. I mentioned to Kathy and Nav earlier this week. I'm sure a lot of your friends would want what you have. Yeah, I'm sure. It's really sad. So many have to live a lie and not accept who are and get on with their life. Yeah, that's come from Pushpa again. Jamni saying, I came out, I was 18 as bisexual. Oops, let me just, I was bisexual. Thanks for sharing your story to you both, and thank you, Priti, for putting this together. You're very, very welcome. Nima Suchak saying, love you guys, well done. Thank you for the support. And Peter saying, in the Vedas, it highlights the LGBT have always existed. These laws were old colonial laws to ruin the South Indian spirit of unity and equality. So on that note, I just want to, once again, express that to everybody out there that are from the LGBT community. And if you are fighting against your religious beliefs, your spiritual beliefs, your community, just concluding on what Peter has just said there, that actually it was stated in our Vedas from a long, long time ago, and it still exists in our Vedas because the Vedas are eternal. So for those people that need to use the Vedic scriptures to help support you, of course, you have the support from our lovely couple here as well, and of course all those groups that have already been mentioned as well. You can get help, and we have the lovely couple here. And for those of you guys that want any further details, you can drop me an email, or of course I've tagged them in all the social media posts as well, so feel free. Is that okay, guys, for them just to drop your message through your social media, and then of course you guys can help them. Is there any final words from Mrs. and Mrs. Bachchu Vicaria?
I think we've said a lot.
Actually, there is actually. Thank you for all tuning in.
Oh yeah, thank you for listening to our
Banter,
dramatical
Bollywood,
romance.
everything.
Romance. Sorry, music in the background. And thank you, Priti, for giving us this opportunity.
Yes, thank you.
This is the first time of what we're hoping many
more
in the future, but it's actually been wonderful. I was nervous, I'll be honest, but I'm right now.
Nothing to be nervous about. We're amongst friends. Thank you both so much for joining me here today. It's been really, really inspirational having you both on. And thank you so much for talking about your personal lives, about your journey. And I'm sure you've inspired lots of people that have been tuned in today. This video, of course, will be you're able to view it back on YouTube and of course on other social media platforms. It will be uploaded onto LinkedIn soon after, and I know it's been shared widely as well. We have Shim Shimmer, who's actually just said, sorry, I'm late, but I'll tune back and watch him later. So thank you for that. A few others, Shana saying, love you both. It was lovely to hear your thoughts. And Darshan saying, loved it. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. It's been great having you both. I'd like to wish you all the very best in your future. When those children come along, I want to get on and do another live with you with the babies while you're holding the babies. So as and when that happens, but by then I'll
breastfeed but cover her, but we can break a taboo with that as well.
Well, absolutely, and in fact that's another taboo topic, isn't it? Because breastfeeding, in itself. So yes, we shall definitely have you guys back sometime in the future. But I'd like to say a personal thank you to both of you. Thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. See you guys.
Yeah.
Bye. So that was the lovely Kathy and Navdeep that was joining us from London. Thank you both so much for joining me live here on Facebook and on YouTube. For those of you that want any more information around the LGBT community, of course, they did give out lots of information, but we have the lovely Raj Singh that